Ahoy there! Welcome to Off Grid Bound. We are finally getting to a critical part of our interior finishing, and that is doing the corner behind the wood stove.
Cindy, no, come here. Come here.
This was a really enjoyable, even though somewhat long-term and at times stressful process, but I must say I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The next big job is to stack stone in this corner behind where the wood stove will be. The wood stove is right here waiting for us to hook it up to the chimney. So hopefully in a not too distant future we'll be able to fire up the wood stove and have a nice, cozy, warm cabin here. By the time I got back from Victoria with all the stones and other materials, Jules had already installed all the cement board backing, so we could start right away. It's really important to leave grooves in the cement so that the stone can stick well, and Jules is doing a great job here. We have a nice progress, just this piece remaining, everything has been already pre-cut, so we should be able to do this within an hour or even maybe less, and then we will get on the floor tiles, which are stacked right over there. And the next time we come, we should be able to do the final install of the wood stove. You might be wondering why he's doing it instead of me. This is the reason. I just keep hitting my head.
See, look.
He is the perfect height. Perfect height. And this is our last row.
Now that's a row and a half.
Row and a half of the wall. It's beautiful. There will be a lot of cleaning required, so I'm going to get on that. Just because mud, I guess, is all over the place. But it really looks nice. Cindy, what do you think? Is it nice? Is it nice? Yes? Stacking the stone in place was only half of the job. The much longer and more tedious work was all the cleanup afterwards. It's quite a difference already, but every time it dries, there is always a little bit of residue on the surface from the mud. So I don't know how many times I will have to do it, but it needs to be done before the final beautifier sealant thing is applied to the rock. I figured out, I tried several different techniques, but I found that probably the one that works best is just wash it off really well with a brush, with just water. Then you wash off as much of it as possible. Now I will get a sponge, so hopefully that will wipe off, that will lift off some of that residue that you can't see when it's wet. You can only see it when it gets dry. And every time I do this, when it gets dry, it looks better than last time. It's still not perfect, so I still may have to do it 1 or 2 more times. That's how things are. Rinse and repeat. Cindy agrees. Right? Show me your pretty eyes. Yes. Yes, you are such a pretty girl. Such a good girl. Okay, on your bed. Go, on your bed. Down. Good girl. It's time to bring in the interior designer. Some time ago we got these tiles actually from free, and it's now Mama's turn to come up with some kind of pattern so it's not just one boring color.
Yeah. And then this one has to be cut. This one is pretty good. So then this one would be here. Oh, and that one would be too small.
Then we need to cut us. No, that's fine.
But it's only one cut, I think.
That's fine.
What is it that you like on that? What is it that you like so much, Dave?
We are having a little bit of issue with cutting the tiles, so we don't know what will exactly happen. These ceramic tiles, when he uses the blade that he has, they chip, and it may be because the blade that he has is for concrete, not for ceramic. So we are going to try a different approach, see if it works or not.
Perfect. Let's put it a quarter inch from the point. Okay? Okay?
Yep.
Now the fun begins.
Yes. You know what? Last time when we were doing this, it just reminded me when I was helping my grandfather. So my father had 6 daughters. I mean my grandfather.
6 doctors?
Yes. Daughters, not doctors.
Oh, daughters. Oh.
I don't know how many doctors he had. And he was determined to build a house for every single one of them. My grandfather was a bricklayer, and yes, he built several houses for his daughters, one of them being my mom. And I remember when I was a child helping him with mixing mortar and cement and doing light work. I have not done anything like this in over 50 years, so I really enjoy this. It brings a lot of childhood memories.
All I want is a big house in the country wide, a picnic table out on the lawn,
And then we put the top on top.
and a couple of dogs.
No, we need to put the air on top. Yeah.
I was going to wear gloves and then I forgot. So fortunately I'm not doing too much of this. So in 10 minutes or 15 minutes I'll be able to wash it off, and there should be no issue. But normally you need to wear gloves for stuff like this, obviously. Well, we already know how the tiles will be laid out, but the membrane needs to be weighted down before we do the next step. We just use the tiles to weigh down the membrane and let the cement set. The tiles also protect the membrane, so if we step on it by accident, we don't mess things up. Okay, I think we can bring it in. What do you think?
Yeah. Are you right in the corner?
A little bit toward me.
Okay there? Yeah. I thought you had us there.
Yeah, but it's not sticky. So, we'll see. I'd rather take out the excess than have it not stick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yellow flowers and green, green grass.
Okay.
Ride more
Done.
that's built to last.
Here we go.
Are we
Are you ready?
Yeah.
do we need to wet
Yes.
this?
No, you don't have to wet that.
Right.
No.
Deep breath.
How is it possible to wet?
I know, it's plastic.
Okay, go for it, honey.
No, start in the corner.
Yes.
I'm passing you the tiles.
First time ever.
Cindy, don't be Marilyn Monroe, okay? No pause in the concrete. Cindy, no, come here.
It's not.
Come here. Go.
Throughout our project, there have been several moments of extreme stress, to say it like that, where I feel like this is it, this is final. I know if I mess this up, it's never going to be fixed. I remember from childhood that tiles were not easy thing to do, and I have never done anything like this. So let's see, will I mess it up or will it turn out a-okay?
Gentlemen, last two.
Well, it's great to be able to claim I did this. I think it doesn't look too bad for an amateur. What do you think?
No, it looks very pretty.
All right, thank you. And once again, when the cement is all set, the cleanup begins. You can see that one tile on the left sticking up a little bit. It was less than a millimeter, but you could feel it. All the rest, though, turned out pretty flat and level. I am happy. Today we are going to the final stage of our tile area for the wood stove. I will try to do the grout here, and then finally we should be able to put the wood stove in. The instructions said, wet the tiles thoroughly before you apply the grout. So I did. Oh boy. And all the professionals or semi-pros out there, don't just burst out laughing. I know what I did wrong, what I did not know when I was doing it. Well, there is a first time for everything, right? If this doesn't end up in a complete disaster, I think I will start a business. Oh my God, I did not expect this to be this messy. I was a little concerned that I may have done the grout a little too thick, but all that water that was on the tiles already really made it runny. How this is going to end up? Now at this point I'm pretty sure that I'm not using the right technique to do the grouting, because it looks like this thing just gets stuck to the surface. This was messier and took way longer than I thought it would. Hey, I'm an amateur, so it is what it is. It's okay. I try to clean it up, but every time I touch it, if I just make the smallest mistake, the grout is getting picked up from the grooves. So I decided I will leave it, let it set, and deal with cleanup later, whatever it may be. And the amateur hour continues. I got these metal brushes, hoping that they would help me to clean the more stubborn residue, but instead they made the tiles dirty. So I had to invent a new technique for a different kind of cleanup. And Cindy just can't believe her eyes. Now that the grout has set and I can see what's happening, I am kind of thinking I should do one more layer. And maybe use a different approach where I would mix a little thicker the mud and then just put it in here. The problem is these grooves, in my opinion, are too deep. So they would be collecting dust and soot and all that stuff. Well, it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look that great. I think I'll give it another try. But first, I'll have Mama to have a look at it.
It's not too bad. No, it is bad. We have to fill it in more. That's okay. That's good.
For grouting version 2.0, we got inspired by some kitchen technology and planned some tools to make our job cleaner. So the next thing is I'm going to wet the grooves, but very, very lightly. So there is only enough water to make the new layer nicely bond with the previous one, but not so much that it would go all over the place here. So I think I definitely found that the sponge method is stupid, that a small brush is a much better tool to use. Yeah, this is so much better. Why didn't I think of this earlier? And this is the kitchen technology I meant. If you have ever decorated a cake, you know what I'm talking about.
stretch this. Use it to push it on the... No, use this.
As someone who has decorated many cakes and cookies in her life, she just lost patience with my clumsiness and took over. I'm sure there is a trick to how to use the tool, but I don't know what that trick is. I think this is a perfect opportunity to talk about all those YouTube videos that show you how to do things. Usually they are made by professionals with years of experience who have made all the mistakes. Very few times I found videos that complete amateurs such as ourselves. Oops. I'm pointing the camera the wrong way. I'm pointing it to myself and then I follow your movement. Speaking of amateurs, right? So the big part of the learning experience is we just have to try it and make all the mistakes and learn from them, hopefully. And this is what makes it fun. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
It's too boring if you just get handed the keys and say, here is your cabin. Well, I think it's done, as in we will let it set now and we'll do the cleanup tomorrow, because the last time I think one of the problems was that I started doing the cleanup too fast. Much better than last time, but of course now the big question is, am I going to be able to clean it off? I brought these heavy-duty scrubs. I don't know if that will work, but it's certainly worth the experiment. Have I mentioned the word cleanup yet? Yep, there we go again. It looks much better now. Finally, all the dirty work is over. And now it's time to make it look beautiful. Well, it looks pretty nice. I have finished the first coat, so now I'm going to do the second coat. Apparently that's what should really bring the sheen and the color of the rock out. Well, we'll see. So some people, Jules, think I don't need a second coat. Last time I followed the instructions on the grout, I wasn't really happy how it turned out, so sometimes you just have to make your own judgment, right? But this is kind of in my opinion, even a third coat couldn't hurt it. I think the real reason he wants a single coat is that he wants to see the wood stove installed, which I don't blame him. The wood stove story that deserves its own episode, because it's been on and off for probably what, April, 6 months at least, yeah. We finally are ready to move the stove now that all the tiles and all the stonework is done and polished and clean and looks beautiful. Now we can take the stove, move it there, and if everything goes well, we might actually be able to fire it up. But it's time to wrap it up here and go home and install the wood stove when we get back the next time. As always, thanks for watching. And until the next time, we are off-grid bound.